Striking. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back, as always, to the Loosely Related Podcast. This is episode 26, and as always, you can always like and subscribe to us on AOL.com.
AOL.com.
AOL.
Yes, you can
AOL,
shoot us,
Friendster. We are on
Friendster.
No,
Friendster.
Friendster sold yesterday. MySpace. That's
Oh,
the new
okay.
thing.
MySpace. Sorry. Right. What is that? Netscape? Netscape is still out there,
might
right?
be,
Netscape version 5.4.
5.4.
5.4.
Has
And if you
crazy
wanna-
updates, new fonts.
Yeah.
If
Yes,
you
new
open up your
fonts.
Windows ME, I think.
Oh, Windows ME, right.
Windows ME, you could probably find a screensaver of us on there someplace. And
Along
you
with
know,
pipes.
your pipes and
All the
stuff.
pipes.
Ship your rock
pipes.
away in a cave, and you can hit subscribe.
If you still have pipes on your screen, it's time to get an upgrade for your computer,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah, well now
Yes.
you know what? Now there's one Inuit in an igloo in Alaska that's pretty pissed at you right now, Dad, for saying that. He's like he's still sitting there with the.
Either that or he's saying, wait, is there an upgrade for this?
Now you've alienated them. Great.
Look at that. But anyway,
I think that's the
I'm sorry.
second igloo in the igloo community in
Yeah.
Alaska that we've
Oh,
alienated.
we are. Well, I mean,
We
we've
alienated a
alienated
couple
people
of them up there.
all over the world, pretty
Yeah, I
much.
think so.
Including in this basement.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
well-
put a permanent sorry sign on things.
Yes, exactly. Anyway,
Yeah.
so welcome back, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in once again. We're sitting here as always. I am joined by my co-host Joe, my dad. What's going on, Dad?
Not much, man. There's so much coming up with our show. I'm looking forward to it. We have
Yeah.
to do some, there's a couple of shout-outs today.
A lot
for
of
some
shout
people,
outs
so-
today, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then of course I'm joined by Rob, sitting across from me over there. What's up, buddy?
Not too much. Just checking out the card that you guys developed that Joe
Yeah,
printed
man.
out for us so we don't have to write on napkins.
Yeah, I don't have to
anymore.
write on napkins. That's so
Yeah.
good now. People,
pretty cool.
Oh, do you have a card? No, I don't have a card. Just give me a
Yeah.
napkin. I'll write the shit down.
Here we go.
Pretty
You got
Pretty
something now.
Yeah, now I
Yeah,
got a card.
Pretty
so
nice.
I don't have a card, but I'm a great tattoo artist. I'll tattoo it right
Yeah.
on your forearm. There we go.
Joe's taking up the art of tattooing.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so.
Yeah, Brian, if you want, you can maybe throw up a graphic of our little business card over
Yeah.
there. It'd be kind of cool.
Take a photo of it later.
And then we are joined in the back by our producer, Brian. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what's up?
What is
How you
going
doing,
on?
Brian?
Yeah.
I've ran like a triathlon since yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe it. I
Yeah,
believe
it's
it.
totally believable.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Well, how'd you do?
In the snow? Was it like, were you running like across snow?
What I did is I went to Antarctica and I competed in the penguin race, is what
Yes.
they call it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's it's belly sliding, surviving in cold water for an hour.
Yep.
And then you have to rock climb an iceberg. But it
Right.
has to be the same iceberg
Same-
that sank the Titanic.
Exactly. And it's all narrated by Morgan Freeman, just like in
Yes.
that documentary. That was Morgan Freeman.
I'd watch
And
it
he-
if he was there.
And he made it back to the podcast just in time.
And
too.
there we
Exactly.
go, exactly. I would love to
Good job.
watch Brian running across something with Morgan Freeman, just like, and so
Do you think-
Brian ran across.
Do you think if Morgan Freeman had a documentary made about him, he would narrate his own documentary?
Morgan Freeman narrating
His
a
own-
documentary about
about
his own
himself.
life. Be hilarious. When I was a young boy.
That was a young boy.
Yeah, so one of the big things I know, Brian, do you want to do? We had our loosely related trivia.
Oh, we did.
And that was it was Brian's idea. So Brian, I'll let you.
Brian's our Instagram
over.
man.
Brian's the Instagram
he,
master over
Among many,
there.
he wears many hats on our show, but
Oh,
he
yeah.
posted a
Many hats, none of what you see.
yeah.
he posted a question, and we had a couple of engagements. Did you have those engagements?
Yeah, totally.
All right.
So every Thursday we're going to be releasing just some trivia questions. Could be about the show, could be about topics on the show. And this question was, who was the only crew member to never miss an episode? And there was two engagements. Peggy, she posted B, which was Joe, Senior Joe.
Yes.
And I believe it was Nestor was the other one who
Nestor,
also got
yes.
B.
Oh, cool. Very
Nestor.
cool. Very cool.
And
Nice.
of course, the answer was B.
the answer
there we
was
go.
B.
But they got
so
they got
there you
it
go.
semi wrong now
Yeah. Why is that?
because they call me Joe Senior.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oh.
See, I
Joe,
see
senior
that.
citizen.
Joe
Senior, maybe.
That's what
maybe
they meant.
The
senior
member.
citizen.
Senior moments.
Yeah, they
Senior
could have
moments,
meant that. That's
senior
true. So
memory,
I shouldn't.
all right.
Maybe I jumped the gun.
Yeah,
So congrats to
one.
Nestor
He's probably supposed to
and
have
Peg.
been places.
Congrats
he just
to Nestor
forgot
and Peg
and
for
stayed
getting
here.
it right. Yeah.
All right. So
And then-
you guys win a trip to a tour of our studio, and
Yes.
Nestor's already seen it. So
That's already it. You get to sit in and sit behind us and watch an episode.
you can see what happens behind the scenes.
You
guys.
get to man the asbestos filter.
Yes.
Exactly. That's good. Yeah, and then so just we'll get the announcements out of the way right off the bat. The other big thing, so we do have a big announcement coming up. We want to announce a contest, and we've been talking about it for a while. And one of the things that we wanted to kind of do to get more like community involvement is it's Christmas time, right? And one of
Yeah.
the big things everyone likes to do is a ugly sweater contest. Everyone does this like with your friends. I always hear a lot of my friends talk about like, oh, let's get together. We'll do like a Friendsgiving thing, like a Friends Christmas, and we'll all wear ugly sweaters, and whoever's the ugliest, I don't know, gets like we all put money in a pot.
Right.
Well, we wanted to do something like that, a loosely related ugly sweater contest. And basically, if you want, you guys take pictures of yourself in your ugly sweaters, send them in to us, either to our email. You can send it to our Instagram, send it to us on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever. And then we do want to kind of get like a minimum number
of 20
of submissions, at least 20
If we don't
submissions.
get at
we're
least
thinking,
20,
right?
nobody wins.
we get 20
Yeah.
submissions. Yeah.
20 submissions, which is we usually get about 100, so 20 should be fine.
And tell them what they can win.
So now the big thing is we're going to go ahead, and I guess what we'll do is probably on our Christmas episode we will announce the winner, and the winner of the loosely related sweater contest
Guess
will
to
be
sit
getting
next to me.
We'll be sitting next to you,
on
and
the
that's
next-
it.
on the following
and, okay,
episode.
and that's it. No, you will be getting a $30 Visa gift card.
There you go,
$30
man.
Visa gift card.
Merry
available
Christmas.
That,
Maybe
that
do
you
some
can
late
use
shopping.
at
Yeah.
our loosely related merchandise shop. How about that, maybe?
That we don't have.
We don't have,
Does
but
not
we will. We're
exist.
working on it. We'll have it soon.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
So
another-
so if you guys want, keep an eye out for that. That's going to be starting there. It's going to be starting when this episode releases, which will be Tuesday. The contest starts then, and then just start sending in those submissions, and we will pick the winner ourselves, and then that's it.
Yeah. So
Well, without any further ado,
be looking forward to that.
oh yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. So we'll get, without any further ado, we'll get into our usual antics. So anyway, last episode we did, I want to say thank you everybody who tuned in for our bonus episode on the books. We really enjoyed
Yeah,
talking
thank you.
about
Yeah.
that. And I think like talking about the books, we got talking about the fact that there's so much stuff that we love that we talk about all the time, but a lot of things fall through the cracks, and it's because we all on this show have so many interests.
Yeah.
We have so many hobbies and so many things that we like. And
Yep.
one of the things that I know we all love, and me and Rob, I know, or we play a few instruments ourselves, is music. And when I say music, obviously I mean Beethoven.
Yeah.
Just Beethoven, and that's it. We're going to talk about classical music.
Classical music
No, we're so
and abstract music.
and abstract music,
Abstract
like
music. Don't forget about that. Like
didgeridoos.
Yanni and
What is that? What is that thing? The theremin. Have you ever seen a theremin? It's it's like that thing where like you wave your hand over.
Oh,
it,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
makes
yeah,
It, like,
it makes
that weird
noise.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You ever seen that, Brian? Find a picture of a theremin and
All right.
put it up on the
I've seen it.
episode.
Well,
it is hilarious.
Is that like
Yeah.
Theraflu?
no?
and it's
a
like you raise your
theremin.
hand or you raise or lower your hand. It
Yes,
makes different sounds,
yeah.
and you can play it with just. It's like I've
it's
seen
hilarious.
that.
But so
What the hell?
I had an idea to kind of talk about music this episode a little bit, and
Yeah. Everybody likes music.
everyone loves music.
Yeah.
Is it
So-
really anything that no one? I feel like that one person. It's like what kind of music? What kind of stuff do you listen to? And they just go like,
I don't listen to anything.
I don't really listen to music.
I don't listen to music.
Everyone likes
It's
music.
hard to imagine. Huh?
Yeah.
It's like that character from Saturday Night Live, Pat.
Yeah, Pat.
They're trying to figure out if it's a man or a woman. and
Yeah.
They keep asking questions. So you see that you listen to that concert and they're trying to figure out what kind of music. They're trying to fish to find out.
They can never
get
find anything
clues.
out about it.
Anna Kendrick in Pitch Perfect didn't watch movies.
Oh, that's
Remember
true.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
But
A
see,
lot of people
that's
don't do that. It's a
fictional.
little
I
different.
guess I could see. Yeah, that's a fictional movie, but I do know some people who like say like I don't really watch TV. You know,
Yeah.
it's like stuff like that. But I never really hear anybody say they don't listen to at least some kind of music.
Right.
You know, so like there's all kinds. So like one of the first things off the bat, I know me personally, like I got into like I honestly feel like over the course of my life since I was like a young kid, I've liked almost every genre at one point or another.
Sure.
Like I remember like when I was a kid in like elementary school, I was into like rap music. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a
Yeah.
lot. Like I was into I used to listen to Tupac and Biggie and Nas and all getting into like more of like the old school rap. And then as I got older, getting into more like punk rock and shit like that. But
Yeah. You went through different
I mean,
stages
it
in your
was
life to get you into different things. Like when you were playing basketball, I think you were probably more into like rap music and that type of stuff because it just seemed to be the thing that the kids on the team were listening. Like all the kids on the team were listening to that type of music.
I think it definitely kind of followed my life. It just like whatever my interests were in that at that point in time, it kind of all followed that general thing.
Well,
it does make sense because when I joined the football team in high school, I started getting into like rock and roll. And it's kind of funny how like there's definitely an
Matty,
aura.
you know, your brother Matt was the same way. When he was playing baseball, a lot of the kids were listening to this particular type of music. And I think it was also like a rap type of music. And he was really into that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then when he got a little older, he started to sort of fall away from that kind of thing. And then he started getting into the rock and sort of like, like not grunge, but like Blink-182.
Like
things like that.
Yeah.
And it just changed as life went on. And it's funny how your influences are in your life, right? Like what actually influences you to listen to the different types of music that you
When I was that age,
like in your
I
life.
was still living in the Bronx, so like East Coast rap and West Coast, obviously. But East Coast, West Coast was at its peak during the mid 90s.
Yep.
So
and that's when it was,
and so it was ubiquitous. My brother Danny Everick, he both liked rap, but especially Danny. So I would listen to. We shared a room.
Yeah.
So I would listen to what he would listen to. So
Sure.
Nas' Illmatic in '94 is still one of my favorite albums of all time.
Really, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll still listen to it every now and then.
Awesome, man.
Biggie Smalls, Ready to Die, Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, and Midnight Marauders.
I always had
KRS One, Eric B. and Rob Cam.
I used to have arguments about like who they think. Like, there's only really one rap singer that I like, and that's Eminem.
Yeah, I liked Eminem.
I love Eminem's song. I don't necessarily like him in particular, but I like his music. I think he's an amazing. I think his rap songs are just genius, really. And
there's a lot of genius. I mean, no offense,
but that's where I was going to say. What I was leading into. There were so many people that I had who know more about rap music. Than me, listen to other bands like Biggie and some of the other ones that they've mentioned, and they don't believe they. I say that Eminem's the best rap singer ever, and you got to listen to this one or that one. They're great. They're just as good. They do their own thing, and
but the thing is, because Eminem had a lot of radio friendly enough that he got publicity where other rappers wouldn't be on there. Unless you were listening to a certain station, like in the city. If you were listening to Kiss FM or something, you might hear. That music.
Like other stuff, like like Nas especially. Like Nas had some pretty hardcore stuff. Like he was
Nas
a pretty hardcore
on there.
rapper.
There was a lot of people.
DMX,
Scarface back then.
So different.
And all that. But like it was like unless you were listening to a rap station, you're not. Whereas Eminem, you might be listening to Z100 and hear Eminem.
Right. You hear my name is all that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's really true. That's a great point.
And he was very controversial in his time.
He's still controversial now, man. I mean, he's still got it. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. I'll at some point in the show later, I do have a top 5 list of my favorite bands and artists of all time, of course.
I remember when you and I both worked in Connecticut, I was listening to Eminem probably still at that point. When was that? When were we working together?
Back in
2002?
Yeah, right around that time, yeah.
I was fading off of Murray, but a couple of years after that, he supposedly faded out. But he's had 100 albums since. I don't even know what the albums are now.
He's had,
what are they? The Encore, the Encore,
Dude,
I'm Still Here.
Yeah,
he retired. What the hell is that?
Throw me out of this joint.
Yeah, exactly. I think he did the Marshall Mathers LP. The first one came out I don't know, maybe 2000 or and then Marshall Mathers LP 2 came out 3 or 4 years ago. He's the guy still doing it.
It still happened because I had the first 3 albums.
Yeah, he released a song. He released it. And the one thing he still does he does a lot of features still, like the rapper Logic. He was on a song with him called Kill Shot. Not Kill Shot. I forget what. Homicide. And he was on that. That was came out I think 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah. It's freaking awesome. It's hilarious. But I know for me, it's like you said.
Like Dre was to him.
Yes, exactly.
So mentoring and being on other people's.
Yeah, man. I think that's another thing that kind of happens with every band. I feel like you always have different I know there's bands that I used to listen to when I was in high school that were sort of the hard rock bands that they would always come up and they would bring bands with them on tour and they would open them up, and then all of a sudden those bands get bigger and bigger and you see that, and then next thing you know they're headlining like Warped Tour and stuff like that, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
That stuff was pretty cool. But I think what you said was so true. It's all about going through different stages in your life. I was in high school. That was when I started getting into rock and stuff like that, right? And I started getting into I remember my early high school days. I was into kind of punk rock. I was listening to I was really into Green Day back then, which is kind of funny.
We
to
were
say
all
that.
into Green Day.
I loved Green Day. I remember that. I used to listen to. I remember I used to listen to like Dashboard Confessional Rob. Like, that was like the punk / emo.
Yeah, Chris Carrabba.
Yeah,
but that was
a big
also
Chris Carrabba fan too.
Yeah,
that was also an influence though, because like when I was in 2000s when I met Rob, early 2009, Rob was listening to a lot of that type of music.
Yes, he was. No, for sure.
He influenced both you and Matthew.
I didn't even know what Dashboard Confessional
myself,
was.
And I listen to those bands now. And Rob makes fun of me because I'm always like 10 years late on those things.
Like,
we're like, we moved on, Joe.
Like I wasn't into it at the time, and then I but now I listen to all of those. I love
I'm sure I'll be the same way to my kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm already that way with like with Maddie. Maddie will be throwing out bands like 21 Pilots and stuff like that. And I'm like,
so I can't wait to see what I'm going to enjoy. That's popular now in 10 years from now.
Well, eventually it's just going to
be
robots.
20 years. We'll be 10 years. These kids will be gosh.
Exactly.
Like my kids are like, I'm like, what is this girl talking about? And my daughter's like, that's Billie Eilish. I'm like, Billie Eilish?
Oh, yeah.
Billie Eilish. She's 15 years old. Yeah. She's already traveled the world. She's not even like, she's 18 now maybe or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she does that, what is this? A bad guy. I'm the bad guy or whatever.
Yeah. That song like blew up. That was insane, man.
Guy. Yeah. I mean, but I actually listened to some of the other album when I was getting in the shower one day. It was just in the cycle because I share a Google Play account with my kids.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I'm not going to front. I got about like 6 songs into it, and I thought all her music was like that. I thought she was just like, but she actually does sing.
Oh, she does sing.
And it's not bad.
No shit.
No, I heard a few of her songs on that album. Like, I think is When We Go to Sleep, Where Do We Go or something like that.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. I was like, now I'm secretly listening to it in my car. I'm like, I was like, it's pretty good. Like, the lyrics are actually pretty good.
Her beats are awesome. I mean, like, that Bad Guy song, that beat, it's so cool.
It'd be interesting to see what, like, their generational things, because, of course, mine go back a ways. I go back before the
dawn.
The dawn of the music. When we
used
to bang with Styx.
Drums.
I remember when Arg came out with a couple of Styx one time, and he started banging on some things, and then everybody started doing. I was banging on a rock, the other one was banging on a tree trunk.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you were like, oh, I think that's Freebird. I sound like Freebird.
Garg was over in the corner just banging like two.
Everybody plays Freebird, man.
Everybody's Freebird.
You ever see that scene from? I think it was a comedy. Where I think it might have been like there's
a SpongeBob episode where they do that, and it's freaking hilarious.
The History of the World, I think it's called.
You're thinking where they have the band thing together?
Yeah, and they start out in the beginning. It's like a spoof on 2001, and then they all start doing music and stuff.
I think that's called The Caveman, I think. Look it up because it has like Ringo Starr or somebody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. Yes.
And they're cooking that giant ostrich egg.
Yeah, and then they start. Yeah. That's what it was. That was what it was like. That's a true story.
Is this Mel Brooks or is
that
this?
Is loosely?
It might be.
History of the World was Mel Brooks, right?
Well, it may have been.
I think this was called The Caveman.
I think it was The Caveman, though. But
History of the World was Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
History of the World was Mel Brooks. But
so funny, man.
I think I don't. I have to look. We have to find out. But it's really funny. That's loose. That part of that movie is loosely based on.
It's called Caveman.
Caveman. Okay.
It came out in '81. Ringo Starr is in it. He's the leader of a small band of misfit cavemen who are on a large community headed for the strongman Tota.
What the hell? Okay.
Took is madly in love with Tanda's
It's a funny
woman.
movie.
Yeah.
But I just when you said that, I remember watching this with my cousin when I was little, and all of a sudden it's like boom. He's like looking at the guy. He's like boop. He's like.
And they start picking up everything. They play
start
a whole
talking
song
about something about crap and throw him in and stuff. And they throw that guy into the giant shit pile. I don't know. It was something crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was weird.
All right, I gotta check that out. I guess.
Shelley Long is in it.
Yeah, but I mean, like I go back to the times of when I was listening to my music. We had. Well,
that was I mean, you were the era of classic rock. I mean, like literally speaking, you were doing that.
Before that, and some of the pop music back then, like Captain and Tennille and things like that, bring back memories of when you're growing up.
Hall & Oates, that's pop considered.
Hall & Oates, that was in the 80s.
That's like, that was more.
You can actually see what. Who's it? Is it John Hall and what's it?
John Hall and Daryl Oates.
Daryl Oates, I think, has a place down in like Palling or whatever, like this restaurant thing where you can go and see music and stuff.
Oh no, shit, really?
Yeah,
really.
There's a lot. That's a lot of that around here. Like James Taylor, like he lived in the area.
I grew up listening to that too. My dad.
He lives up in Milton. He's not that far
down on Copper. Yeah, he's like that.
So good.
There's quite a few people.
Sweet Baby James
live in this area. Yeah. Bob Seger lived up here.
Bob Seger lived up here?
Yeah, he lived in the Hudson Valley area.
Damn, man. What the hell?
I forgot some of that music.
Because you know why? I bet you it has something to do with you come here, it's peaceful, and when you're a songwriter, it's just peaceful. It's quiet. You just sit outside. You just think of stuff to write.
Probably a lot of inspiration for stuff.
I believe it.
And like I was trying to say, in my day growing up, the only thing we had for music were LPs.
LPs.
And then they came out with...
explain what an LP is.
An LP is just a vinyl record that they used to record music on. And they used to have reel-to-reel music. So that would probably where they would master the music, I would imagine, on the reel-to-reels.
Yeah, the reel-to-reel actually gives you really good sound because of the thickness of the tape.
Yeah.
If tape didn't wear out, it'd be better sound than digital.
And you know what? It's funny because a lot of that comes back now. A lot of people are reverting back to reel-to-reels.
My brother Ricky's all into vinyl. He sells records, buys records.
And
there's a huge market.
If you still have them, like right over in the corner of the basement, I have a stack of my LPs from growing up. I actually should bring some over and put them on the table. But
we should have done. That's a good idea.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
But and now people are going back to those things, and people are selling their LPs on Amazon and
Craigslist
and
eBay
and because they're
still
in good shape. You can actually
there's record stores still, like in New Paltz. There's still that one record store, and it's packed almost always.
Is that Rhino Records or is that
it might be? Yeah, I think it is that one. It's kind of on the corner right there.
Yeah, it's right by Main Street Bistro.
Yeah, yes, right by there. Yeah,
I know in college a lot of people I was talking to were like buying vinyls again.
Really?
Buying stuff on vinyl.
It's
I'm telling you, it's making a resurgence big time.
And 8-track tapes is another thing. Imagine if you still had 8-track tape player and 8-track tapes.
When I was at
they were a pain in the ass,
Community College. I used to I DJ'd there. I had a radio show.
Oh, really?
My brother and by myself, yeah.
No shit.
That's kind of cool.
That was pretty influential.
That was your that was influential for the Loosely Related podcast. That's what inspired you to sit down and start doing this.
Like one day I'll find 2 other like-minded individuals, and that's it. We'll talk to each other.
That's it. Yeah, man. But you got me into classic rock. Like I was saying, like all the different genres I went through, and then I was like, that whole time I've always been into classic rock. Classic rock was probably the first thing I was ever into because I grew up with my parents like when I was 8 years old.
Right, that's your sphere of influence.
Yeah,
it's whatever is there. When I was younger, my dad listened to a lot of like James Taylor and stuff like that. So it wasn't. We used to make fun of it when I was little. I remember when my dad got remarried and I had my stepbrothers and sisters. They would listen to like Mrs. Robinson and all that.
Oh hell yeah!
So we listen. We make fun of them back in the day though, because they would make fun of us. They're like, I remember. I think my brother was into Guns N' Roses, and my dad's like, "What the hell is that? What is it? Get in the Ring and all this crap." I remember he's reading that insert. He's like, "You guys listen to garbage."
Yep.
And my other brothers listen to rap, and he's like, "This guy, what is he?" Pop this and pop, and then we were like, "What the hell is cuckoo kachoo mean?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
It all circles around. Now I'm older,
really
I more appreciate that stuff.
Same, man.
It does circle around, and you get influence. When I was a kid, I used to sit in the back of my car with my dad, and he would listen. He'd only listen to classical music.
Okay.
Wheels on the bus, but
right.
when we weren't listening to that, it was classical music constantly. Sibelius and Beethoven.
But you still love you.
But you know what? We hated it then because when we were driving to our cousin's house an hour away, it was just classical music the whole way down. It was good for sleeping.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
But it just what you realize later on. I actually grew up and I listen to. I love Mozart.
Mm-hmm.
I have Mozart albums. I listen to Mozart once in a while, and I enjoy.
I don't know if it's something I'd want to listen to for hours.
Yeah.
No, but it's good at certain times. You know.
Apparently,
I wouldn't want to be like my dad. That's all he listens to.
You know,
right?
And it's appropriate in certain places. Like when he used to be he did the planetarium in high school, and he would do the shows in the planetarium.
Oh yeah.
And he would put the classical music on behind, while he was doing the shows. So classical music playing while he was doing the.
It kind of works perfectly.
And it works perfectly for something like that. You know what I'm saying?
You mean the planetarium in the high school?
Yes.
That I went to. That's still there. That's named after him.
That's named after. That has our last name. Yeah. I just shout out to my grandfather, who unfortunately is not with us, but Walter J. Hassett. And at North Rockland High School, you can actually visit the Walter J. Hassett Planetarium in North Rockland High School. Walter, I'm sorry. Walter, oh my goodness.
Aloysius.
Walter A. Hassett, and that's where Brian went to high school. So Brian got to sit in a planetarium for his grandfather.
You can go to the high school, break in, and preferably through a window.
Yes,
it's in the middle of it's in the very center of a huge high school. So if you can get there,
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you spray paint Loosely Related podcast, and we are available every Tuesday. And you can find us.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, there you go. But now, like the classic rock was always there. I think for me, like the big changes came really in high school, like that, which I think like everyone talks about, like, oh, well, that's my generation's music, and I like. there's kind of like maybe like everyone has their own definition of that. I know in my mind when I say like what was my generational music, I think of my high school years just because like that's like, you know, like that. So like I don't know, like going back to maybe like I started off like the punk emo, like Dashboard Confessional, Bayside. Then I remember like high school, what started for me was like I got into a band. I started playing guitar, and when I was like 15 years old, and then that like just opens up the can of worms and all of that.
I think what they mean, at least what I think, anyway, in my opinion, when they talk about your generation music, I look at that as the type of music that you listen to when you were younger and you never stop listening. You still listen to it and you still love it. Like when I grew up, my music in the late 70s, early 80s was like the Cars, Pink Floyd,
definitely Pink Floyd,
Cheap Trick.
So the Cars is probably something I would listen to because you listen to, because when we carpool together, you used to listen to it a lot.
You know, I still love and listen to all of those bands, and those are my I'd have to say
Duran was that
Duran. I love them.
So like I'll throw it on.
John Oates, I would
mean?
listen to that. Even like if you want to go outside of like rock, was like Barry Manilow, believe it or not.
Michael Jackson, man.
Michael Jackson. Madonna, yes, a lot of those things. You know, we used to go to the dance clubs up in Bear Mountain and down in Orangeburg. And, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people listening will remember
Saturday Night Fever,
those
baby.
places. But and,
putting his hairpiece.
That was my dad. He was just all like this the whole time, doing the John Travolta.
Back when he had an afro.
You did kind of have an afro though.
I did. I had really
bit.
Long hair. We'll have to. Maybe I'll shoot you a picture and you can.
Wait, I think we have a picture of my house.
I may have. If you do, if you have it with, if you have me with my members only jacket, I'm sure I could find something. I'll post it on my dancing days. My members only jacket. Those were big back then.
Hell yeah!
I used to go to the club with the members only jacket and the band on the collar up here and the things.
That's so cool, man.
I had my dance clothes. I had my freaking Miami Vice freaking dance clothes. I used to.
You really did?
Oh yeah.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude! Please tell me there's pictures of those.
There's got to be pictures.
Oh, there's got to be pictures.
We'll have to check.
Oh, you can't just say that. You have to show it.
I gotta ask you guys a question. What was we were talking about? You know, the sphere of influence when you're young is pretty much your parents.
Yeah, probably.
Do you guys remember like what was your first like music related influence that was outside of your parents' influence? Like the first time you remember?
I do. It's easy.
Can I start?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
My biggest outside of my father's classical. That's all I heard from him. I don't even know what my mom liked. Honestly, I think
whatever your dad liked, probably.
No, she wasn't into classical. She listened to like 40s type, like the 40s,
big
like
band,
not big band, but like
Temptations, maybe.
No. Before that, I would say more like the Andrews Sisters type of music in that era.
Oh, what is
that kind of stuff?
John Phillips
Sousa Boy Company.
That is
that
big
kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, yeah, but
Boogie Boy Company,
like jazz,
I don't know, just like
Pennsylvania 6500.
Maybe people like.
Who's John Phillips Sousa?
Burt Bacharach. I'm not Burt Bacharach.
Burt Bacharach.
The guy who's singing, the gray-haired guy who's singing.
The gray-haired guy.
Honestly, you know, that guy. Literally 1,000.
He was on Austin Powers.
Freaking George Clooney's gray-haired now. I don't know, man. I got nothing.
But like the 40s type music.
You're on your own.
My biggest influence was my brother Walter.
Yeah.
Now you're making me think of other music. Okay, go ahead. So what was he into?
He was into a lot.
Was he older than you?
Yeah, he was 5 years older than me. He listened to a lot of different things, and probably I'll mention some bands, and it'd be interesting if people didn't know them. But Emerson, Lake and Palmer was one.
Did
of
you have like an
favorites.
experience the first time I'm saying that you remember the first time this is when you heard something?
Oh yeah, because he had everything. He was like you, and I compare like my brother to you in a lot of ways because you're the type of person that every time a new technology comes out, you have to have it. Like you got to be the first one to have that. My brother was the same way. He had as soon as the technology came out, he would go out to the store buy it. He had the first 8-track tape player. He had the first freaking VCR that popped, the top loader.
Top loader.
He had everything. He had the music down there. He had his amplifier. He had his all of his settings, his speaker. He was really into music, and he listened to all kinds of different bands. And he was one who influenced me with like bands like Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Okay.
Let's see, like Rick Wakeman and those types of guys, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young,
right?
Neil Young,
obviously.
He had a lot of different bands, and he went to so many different concerts. And I would go down.
He went to a lot of
concerts.
And
he would play music for me. So he was, and Pink Floyd, and all those bands. Like I grew up with him.
So like, what was like? Do you have like a specific like event, a specific moment when you were kind of sitting down and you heard something?
I remember mine.
Like, I have one in particular that I know kind of like began me starting to listen to different music. That's what I think. That's what Rob was kind of asking.
All right,
you know what kind of jump started you to listen, like moving away from the classical stuff that you grew up listening to?
Well, there was, outside of that, like I said, my brothers probably influenced me a lot as far as my likes and dislikes in music.
Yeah.
And then as far as there was a moment in my life where I actually was like, wow, about music I was actually in a class in school in Haverstraw Middle School. And I was in a music class, and there was a teacher that put on some albums. I don't even know who it was, but it was just weird, like music. It was weird music. It was like electronic type music, almost like Yanni type. It might have even been Yanni.
Yeah.
And I just was in the class just amazed by it.
Right.
And I wished, and I remember it. I wish I could have remembered what it was. To this day, I always wish I could remember what it was, because I would love to find out more about it. But that was a wow moment for me.
And I can relate to that.
And that like changed your taste in music pretty much?
It was an influencer that, like, I was like, wow, there's so many different things.
I could see it. You know why? Because you loved one of your favorite bands of all time is Devo.
Yeah,
and they're hardcore. You love Devo.
Yeah.
So I believe that.
And that would be considered, I guess, punk, real, like hardcore,
like electronic punk.
Electronic
maybe,
punk.
Like
that was more punk because back then punk was like just so different.
Genres.
What was the Ramones?
I remember they covered Satisfaction.
The Ramones were punk. Yes,
the Ramones.
Yes.
Well, they were like the first punk, but the Kinks, the Ramones.
The Kinks
were
more
like
rock. The Ramones were more punk. Or
who am I thinking of? Not the Kinks.
That all comes on the edge of like the British invasion again. Because they were bringing punk here and stuff, and then you got the Ramones and stuff out of that.
Yeah, the British.
BCGC. You know what? Now that I think about it, too, one of the biggest music influences.
Oh my God, that reminds me of the song.
I know,
right? It's one thing. It all comes flowing back. Yeah, exactly.
MTV.
Oh, yeah, okay, so that was in the 80s, right?
Yeah, right after we started to get our boxes, we had the things, remote controls, and then MTV came out.
Yeah.
And then MTV, it was like the big thing, MTV
Michael
was on.
Jackson, Madonna,
and that's where you got to see all the bands, like you said, Michael Jackson, his videos. And just... That was probably so cool, and you got to see, and you'd see the videos, and it'd be like, wow,
you see Thriller. I can't imagine the first time you saw Thriller. That must have been awesome.
Oh, it was insane. It was like an event.
Cool.
It was like an event.
I believe it. That would have been so cool.
Do you guys know what the first music video ever was?
No.
Video Killed the Radio.
Yeah.
Star.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty good, Rob.
Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
That's it. But it's funny you mention like discovering it in a classroom.
Yeah.
Because when I was in college, we were doing it was in LA. And we had I forget what the name of the class was called, but it was a really good class. So I should probably remember the name of it. But we were doing a certain thing where it was like something about like the business of directing.
Right. Yeah.
And this director who had made like music videos came in. And he played this music video from a band called Greta Van Fleet that I had never heard of. And it was their song Safari Song.
Wow.
And I was sitting there like, oh my God, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, how have I never heard of these guys? And from there, everything changed for me after hearing that song.
That's awesome. And now that band, Brian, that's crazy because now like they're one of the biggest bands on the planet now.
Yeah.
They won like a bunch of Grammys last year and all that.
They're so good.
And you were kind of there for that. That's amazing.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
it's interesting to see things that come about. Like I'm just bringing back so much memories
seriously.
Right now.
Yeah.
So what do you remember, Joe? What was your
in
first,
terms of mine's easy to remember because of the guy sitting right across from me right here. He's sitting right across from me. Yeah. So I remember like I was a kid like when you and I first met, I was like 11, 12 years old.
Yeah,
I was a kid. I've known you for like half my life. So I was a kid. I was listening to stuff kids listen to, and like my parents played a lot of classic rock. But I remember you had your old Volkswagen Passat. I remember thinking, what a cool car, And then it's like, you want to go for a ride in Rob's Rob's cool car? He's got a cool car or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I want to go. And I was like, oh, it's so cool. So I was sitting in the back, and you were playing in the car. I think you were playing Sunny Day Real Estate.
I love Sunny
You were
Day,
playing, and I was like, "What is this? This is weird. I've never heard this kind of rock music. This is like it's like modern, and it's probably then like they just kind of opened the floodgates, and then it was just like Dashboard Confessional, and listening to all those different bands at Bayside eventually, and then like
they had some good
Saves the Day and stuff like that, and then of course Green Day. It all led down into that path. And I was like, so I remember that. You kind of opened the floodgates.
That's awesome.
That was an influencer to me because I used to drive me crazy on the way home from work. We used to drive home and he used to play all his music, and I hated it. And I used to. Can we put something else on?
But now
I listen to it.
You love it.
Now I love it. So that shows you how that's
by yourself,
too. Because
man,
I'll sit and I'll be. You'll hear me outside. I'll be working on something. I have the boombox going. I'll be playing like and the Rob will say, "Oh, you're finally caught up or something." Like they'll make
hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, it's funny you said. I forgot how much I used to love that band.
You did.
I drove like 4 hours to see them live with this wacko person that I want to forget so badly.
Yeah,
it was cringeworthy. I had never met her, but we used to chat all the time.
Yeah,
we were both huge STRE fans.
Yeah,
and so I could barely get through it. She was so obnoxious.
Yeah,
but I was like, the show was still pretty good.
Yeah, I believe it, man.
But I was lucky to see them. There's so many other great bands I loved that I never got to see. I never saw Nirvana. I was a huge Nirvana fan.
There's a lot of bands like I'm gonna get into it later, but like one of my favorite bands. Actually, my favorite band of all time is Blink 182.
Damn,
one of my favorite band of all time.
That's
my favorite band of all time.
Really?
I've had so many opportunities to see them live. I actually had my friends bought me a ticket one time, but we were on vacation and I had to just say you got to give it to somebody else. I can't. I can't.
I was
go.
just listening.
They saw them in Jones Beach.
I was just listening to their Dark Side song that just came out. I get obsessive with Blink 182.
Yeah, they're good. That girl that I knew back in the day, she was into them long before. She used to say, I liked them before everybody knew them.
I liked them when they were Dude Ranch.
When they
I liked them in
Treasure Cat and all that or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my first experience when I was little, I mean, it would be a while till I had autonomy to listen to my own music.
Yeah.
But when I was younger in my house, my sister was a bit older than I was, and she was going through this a born again Christianity thing, and Amy Grant was constantly on the dang radio.
Oh.
Amy, ooh baby, and that was the best crap we'd listen to. Otherwise, it was all Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and no offense to that, I know some people like the Three Dog Night. And after a while, I'm like,
yes.
that's some of the other ones.
No, that's it can be
So I remember. Once in a blue moon, we'd go to Skate Key. All those people in the Bronx know about Skate Key. We used to go skating there, and they would play music or whatever. And back then, 1985, 1988, Beastie Boys was on the radio constantly.
Man, nice.
Right.
So I was going to Stop Camp, and they only played some of their music, like No Sleep to Brooklyn and stuff, because a lot of it had expletives or whatever.
Sure.
And Paul Revere was a song that didn't, because when you said, when we were just talking about
the British were coming. Yeah.
I was thinking, Paul Revere was a great song, but they would cut out a lot of it. But anyway, I remember this one part, the sun's beating down on my baseball hat, the air is getting hot, my beard's getting flat, and he's like, one lonely beastie I be, all by myself without nobody. And I remember that one line or whatever from being in the Skate Key.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at Stomp Camp, the camp I was going to in an assembly, waiting for them to take whatever, the roster, whatever, I don't know. And there was the older kids, and they were so cool, man. It would be freestyle rapping all the time. I wanted to hang out with them so bad.
Dude, yeah.
But I was so little, and they were like, okay, Rob. I was so tiny. But one day he was singing it, and he's like, looking for my girl. I ran into a guy. I said, his name is MCA. I said, howdy. He said, hi. He was like, what? And he turned around, and he was like, you know Beastie Boys? I was like, hell yeah, I'm into Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I couldn't listen to Beastie Boys. I only knew it because of the Skate Key thing.
That's hilarious.
But I wore a little something under his extra tight sweater that I've had for years.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. He's busting out a shirt right now for all the listeners. Holy crap. Look at that. Holy crap, man. Look at that. Rob, holy shit. Dude, that shirt is worn, but it is beautiful. Look at that shit. Dude, you still have that? That's incredible. It is a blue shirt. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, a white shirt with a little bit of blue, but it has the Beastie Boys van on it. That is awesome.
Yeah, and Aloha, Mr. Hand. Joe,
look at that.
That's from.
Look at that. Aloha, Mr. Hand?
You should know what that's from, Joe. It's a famous movie. You don't know that movie?
No, I don't think
what is
so.
that?
Sean Penn in it.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh,
sure,
awesome.
yeah.
I should have known that. I've seen that movie.
That's a good movie.
Dude, that's an awesome shirt. What the
Thanks,
hell?
man. I broke that out of my closet. I was like, I don't care if it's stained. I'm wearing this today.
Yeah. I still have one of my old band shirts upstairs that I used to wear a lot. One of the bands.
Did you go through the band shirt every day? I used to wear them every day.
I wore
every day I had a band shirt on.
When I started our band, that was when I started really wearing band shirts because we used to when we would play a show, you'd want to wear a cool shirt on stage.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you would do that.
The only band shirt I think I ever had was the Cars Candio album cover shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I
pretty cool.
saw a million Nirvana shirts.
Yeah,
because me and my brother just buying for each other. Our birthday. Here, you got one. I got one.
Yeah, man.
Because we basically just wanted the same thing.
Dude, I just remember for me so of course there was that, right, and when that was a big influence, me being a young kid. But like I said, the other big influence, and I'm sure anybody who really plays an instrument and just loves playing whatever it is, guitar, drums, bass, keyboard, whatever.
that like will freaking open up the floodgates as well. Like I remember me when I started playing guitar, I think it was like my junior year of high school.
Yeah.
I started getting into all kinds of music that I didn't think I would do because I loved playing it on my guitar, and it just made me really want to listen to it more and more. So like I remember in high school, like that was when I really started getting into like more hardcore music, like the hardcore rock, like post-hardcore was I think the actual genre I used to listen to.
Thursday and that kind of
like
thing.
Well, yeah. So like some examples would be we have like bands like Silverstein, Skylit Drive, Census Fail, Hawthorne Heights, A Day to Remember. That's like one of my favorite bands.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, A Day to Remember would be like my second favorite band of all time.
Poison in the Well, that kind
exactly.
of thing.
Yep. So I'm like, that was what my band played. I was actually, it's so funny. Looking at me, you would never think, right? I went from rap music to like the post-hardcore, which is like the screaming stuff. For those of you who aren't familiar, I was the screamer in my band. I actually did all the screaming and stuff like that, which is pretty funny. Yeah. But, you know, you start playing guitar and you start doing all that. And that's like my high school years, like whatever, like A Day to Remember in those bands. Like, so like that was one of the bands they're like my second favorite band of all time. I did get to see them live. That was awesome. They came to the Mid Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, and I got to see them. That was an amazing show.
There's a that's a good opening. Atreus X's and O's.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
What's the other one they had? Like Black.
They have.
I love the opening to that.
Lip Gloss and Black.
Yeah,
I can play all those songs on guitar. It's one of the things I used to learn how to play because I didn't because all of those guitar parts were so cool and it got me into it.
Yeah, no, they were definitely dope.
But it's funny now because like nowadays though, I have to be honest. Like I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm definitely more open to any genre.
Yeah,
I kind of like it all.
Except for like, even though I loved rap when I was younger, I don't like hardcore rap anymore, and I don't like country really.
I don't like country.
That's the only thing I don't.
There's only a couple of
country. I can't get into it.
I did not like country.
There's only a couple of country songs that I like.
I've tried.
The one song that the one guy used a deep voice country song, and he has the Long Black Train.
Johnny Cash.
And Johnny Cash, of course. No, Johnny Cash is good.
But Johnny Cash is like rock and roll though. Like I love Johnny Cash.
Who's the guy who sings Long Black Train?
Oh, I honestly don't even know his name.
Right.
I couldn't even tell you his
Black
name.
Train,
Look
Brian.
that up. Brian's our fact. I don't ask me.
Here's a long
I've tried
black
getting into country. It's just not my thing.
Down the line.
Josh
that one's
Turner?
a good one. Josh Turner, that's him. Josh Turner's very good.
When I was younger, I was lucky to have also like my sister, my middle sister. She listened to cooler music than me because I was stuck with my dad basically and my older sister. But my uncle Eddie and my Uncle John would both listen to Billy Joel all the time. So I've always loved Billy Joel. They would watch me when I was younger because my parents were split, so they both worked. I listened to the Beatles a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Right. What I liked about them is like when I was younger, and I never really understood this. Two things I find unique about them. I liked the Beatles a lot more when I was younger, even though it was before my time. Like I'll still listen to them, and I still know most of their music. Like if I heard something, I know the majority of their catalog.
Sure.
But I think it's even though they're gone, it's like they were then what they are to us today. It's like they're teenagers' music.
Yeah.
They're not really. You ever notice that? Like,
yeah.
I've kind of got out of it more as I got. Not that the music wasn't great. And they had such. When I was younger, I used to think they must have played forever. But they had like an 8-year career. How the hell did they put out so much music
exactly.
in 8 years?
It's so true. You forget that. Like they came over to America. They were only here for like what 7-8 years. That's it. Yeah.
They're basically 62 to 70. That's the majority of their stuff. And I'm like, how the hell did they put out so much? I'm like, it crosses so many genres and it changes so much. Like from I Want to Hold Your Hand and Love Me Do, which is like, all right, to Eleanor Rigby, Sgt. Pepper's album, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. It changes so much. It gets so much more complicated. And I'm sure you can thank drugs for that. But even even the genres themselves, like they touch on like country, like country-ish. They touch on folk music. They're rock and roll,
cultural type.
They go through
different
so
places,
many, right? They go through so many different things.
Have
Indian
cultural
music.
Yeah,
that's true too. From travel, probably, and other people that they would know.
Yeah,
you know.
And how they influence other bands. Like there was one video where you saw Eric Clapton, the Rolling Stones. There was one video I saw probably on YouTube, and the Beatles were playing, and the Rolling Stones were sitting watching them. Playing. You know.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
I remember seeing this post online where it was like, what drugs did the Beatles do? Yes.
That's so true, man. I believe it.
And then the biggest influence, I was going to say, like you said, like I would say from like middle school to mid-high school.
Yeah.
And this is a band, like going back to what you said, I'll still listen to them, but not like I did. Like I was such a Nirvana head, man. When he took his own life, whether you believe that or not, on April 8th, 1994. Again, it kind of like the Beatles, their first actual album was Bleach that was released to a minor record. That's 89.
Right.
they released Nevermind in 91, I think it was.
Yeah, it's like
he's dead by 94.
94. So it was
Look
about
at the
6
sphere
years,
of influence for 6 years.
Yeah.
There's still, you know how many albums were released post?
Exactly.
How do you say? I always mess that word up. Posthumously.
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 I always say posthumously. I'm like, I'm gonna throw it out there. I can't say it.
I know what to say.
I think it's posthumously.
It's like spell lieutenant. No one can spell. No one's ever spelled lieutenant. No one ever spelled. There you go. That's it.
Posthumously.
LT.
Posthumously.
Okay.
I think he's just released so many albums since then. I'm like, what? How many people are like they die posthumously? I think that's how it's
posthumously. There we go.
I think came into my head. See, it's funny because my brain works. I forget some things and I just remember.
He's been waiting to drop that on us, baby.
Well, that's like I remember like the word penultimate. Everyone kept saying that. I was like, what the hell is penultimate? I was like, what the hell?
Hyperbole. But they were like, dude, it's not a long time, but they had such the careers. Like, if you ever watch anything from the night, you're not going to watch anything from VH1 or MTV in the night that doesn't mention Kurt Cobain.
Yeah,
you're not going to.
It Smells Like Teen Spirit.
It just never happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So that I think I'm pretty sure my brother Ricky still loves him. I mean, I'll definitely listen to him still, but like I can't pretend to like know all their back catalog now.
Yeah,
right. When we were younger, like you were saying, Joey. that's all we played in the garage.
Yes.
It was like 90%. Nirvana songs, and then like 3 or 4 other bands. That were like, I guess we'll learn one of these songs.
Exactly, man. No, dude, that's how it was for. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of it is the It's weird because as you get older, you get to see everything. Like I have the combination of when I was a kid in the back of Rob's car learning about that stuff, and then I have the stuff from when I was in high school listening to that, and then you teaching me stuff, and not just classic rock bands. Like you introduced me to bands like Counting Crows, Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie.
Trying to think of other like alternative.
Red Zeppelin. I probably influenced.
Well, I'm saying more like
Zeppelin,
like outside of the classic rock. Like it wasn't just that. Like a lot of different stuff. You know, and it's funny to see as you get older the final sort of culmination of all of that when you were like a kid to like becoming a grown adult and all that.
Yeah, you picked up some of the favorite things that I listened to, and I picked up your stuff too. Like I said, one of my favorite bands now is like Blink-182. I listen to them constantly.
Don't forget about
Linkin Park.
Yeah, don't forget
about Linkin Park.
Coldplay. Don't forget about Coldplay.
Coldplay.
I was surprised you didn't mention Coldplay yet.
I was getting there. Coldplay is probably at the top of my list.
I forgot that because that is another good influential album. I like when they're Rush the Blood to the Head.
Oh,
I love that album so much.
That's the Scientists on that one, right? Yeah.
It reminds me of Puerto Rico because we went to visit Puerto Rico the year.
And that's how music influences things you do, and it brings you back to places that you makes you reminisce about places.
Absolutely,
but Coldplay definitely, and Linkin Park, and all of those bands, and and those are the music I listen to today. I love it. I'm behind everybody else. Like everyone would list this as something.
Well, that's
like
what's good about
been out for what? How many
available
years?
Yeah.
The funny thing with Blink-182 though, ironically though, they've been such a great band for so many years, but they didn't win a Grammy.
They've never won a Grammy.
Oh, really?
Until
well, you know what's funny? Well, it was. I don't think they've never won a Grammy.
They may have been nominated.
What had happened was that, and it's so funny. They were so great, like you said, they were so great for so many years. Never had a real opportunity to like have that, and it wasn't until they came back, and I guess it was Brian. Can you look up when Blink-182 California released the album?
2016.
And that was their first album that ever was nominated for a Grammy ever.
Oh, really?
Like, it's kind of crazy, They
and it was without their main singer. Was it the one what's his name?
Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, Tom DeLonge left, and he was no longer there.
I was so sad to sell that guitar.
Oh, you did sell it, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh, Rob had a replica Tom DeLonge guitar from like Enema of the State, like back then, like awesome replica. I love that guitar. It was so nice. But yeah, you were talking.
Is that the red one that you had?
No, it was
you probably still have that, right, Rob? The red one.
Yeah, the red one. Natasha.
Yeah. But yeah, so you were talking about like it brings you back to brings back memories, and like you hear a song and you just immediately think of something. Well, just for all you out there, just from 2019, if you want, I found out that Apple. If you listen to Apple Music this year for like the first time ever, they have their Apple Music 2019, they call it Replay. So if you have an iPhone, you listen to Apple Music, you want to check out your 2019 year in review in terms of your music, it's a little bit hard to kind of find, but I'll give you the steps right here if you want. Maybe Brian could put a link in the description. So all you got to do is we're going to put a link in the description. Go to that link. You got to sign in, enter your Apple ID and password, and then you just scroll down to where you you see replay.
That's if you remember your ID, Apple, and password.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Most people don't fucking remember that.
Half the people are out.
Most people are like, I never use. I do. I literally put it in my Apple Notes, so I had it.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But for the record, I tried that this morning before the show started, and it doesn't do anything. Yeah, I can't get in. I have.
Oh, you tried to get yours?
You got to be careful if you have two-factor identification turned on and stuff like that too. But anyway, if you click the Get Your Replay Mix button, then you can actually go ahead and then just explore your year in review.
But now, is that only with iTunes Music or Apple Music?
So
it's only must have not a list because there's nothing.
It's only Apple Music, yeah. So if you don't, exactly. So
there's a song that I said that you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I just I won't say obviously what it is. Let you get to that.
All right, cool.
But you ever think about like? That was one of those songs where I'm like, how did I miss this?
Yes.
Everybody was on it, and I was like just not listening to the radio anymore.
Really?
I mostly listen to my own music.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So when everyone was like, what the hell, you don't know that song? You know how I found out that song? My little 7-year-old was singing it.
Really?
He was like,
I believe it.
I was like, what are you singing? And then my sister, his sister, my daughter starts singing it, and the other one starts.
A cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm like,
literally.
What the hell is happening?
Yeah, as Rob alluded to, there's I had a pretty hilarious, and I think a lot of people probably had a similar number one. So
we're listening to it.
I think so, man. I put my info in. If you guys real quick, my 2019 in review. So first of all, it tells you this. I listened to 803 hours of music in 2019. It's pretty cool.
No, the only question I want to add. Now that's coming off your Apple ID, which means the music you listen to through your Apple Music. Or Apple Music.
Apple Music app on your phone if you have it. Now here's the thing: is Apple Music is a subscription. It's like if you're a student, I think it's like $5.99 a month.
You can get pretty good deals on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're constantly giving months away for free.
Yeah, exactly.
But now what I want to know is like we in this house sometimes like we have Matthew's Amazon account. We listen to his music.
No, that would be
a
different thing. That would be.
Are we logged in?
Is there any
point where we're logged into your app? We're using it on other devices, and that music is being influenced by other people listening to your account.
No,
music.
No,
that was on my Play account.
But yeah, so 803 hours of music listened to. So apparently, and this kind of shocked me a little bit. Apparently, I had 2 songs tied for most plays of the year. Right?
Are they similar at all?
They're kind of like the same genre, I guess. If you close your eyes and pretend you've never heard a song in your entire life. So my 2 most played songs was the song "Smokin'" by Boston, the song, the band Boston, classic rock.
Maybe I heard about it.
Apparently, I listen to that song a lot. I must be listening to that song when I'm driving really fast. Because I do a lot of drag racing and all that. A lot of street racing.
You're big into that.
Yeah, me and Vin Diesel hang out.
Yeah.
And then also tied for that was Old Town Road featuring Billy Ray Cyrus by Lil Nas X. I was surprised I had 7 plays. I'm surprised it was only 7 plays. I thought it was way more than that. I freaking loved that song. I was obsessed with it. I didn't like it at first. I remember my friends first played that song for me, and I was like, "Is this a joke? I don't understand. Why would they get Billy Ray Cyrus to do a rap song?"
Yeah, right.
And then they explained the whole story. So the whole story behind it was like Lil Nas X made the song Old Town Road. And then people were complaining because, it was being put in the country category and the VMAs were coming up and he might have gotten nominated for it, and they were trying to get it taken out of that. Well, Billy Ray Cyrus jumped in and is like, hell no. He's singing about country stuff. He's like, it's a country song. So, but they were like, no. So you know what? I'm gonna make it a country song. I'm gonna feature in it. I'm gonna be in his song, and I'm gonna allow him to feature me in it. And then you can't say it's not a country song because Billy Ray freaking Cyrus is in it. And that was just I loved that story so much that it just got me into the song, and I just all the time and all the different remixes they had of it, hilarious, man. So, yeah, man, that was my 2019 review.
But now that's influenced by Mom too, because she loved that song and she would make you play it. We'd be in the car driving places.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's
possible.
You'd be
I'm
gonna
step out for a second.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely think that there's something to be said about the origins of a song.
Right.
Everybody talks about the fact that I wrote this song about there's that wonderful song by Eric Clapton, Tears of Heaven, and he wrote that about his son who had unfortunately passed away. Mm-hmm. And a lot of songs have these origin stories and all that. Mm-hmm. And obviously they vary, but I really appreciate when a song has a great backstory behind it.
Right.
And for some reason, I just like the Old Town Road thing. Everybody makes fun of it. It's so played out.
It is now.
I loved the fact that you had a two different sort of genres coming together. Yeah, totally. It actually made me like if you want to consider it country, it's the first country song I can legitimately say that I have listened to on repeat over and over again. I don't know. I like that stuff.
Dude, when I worked at a summer camp last summer, that they played that song on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. I wanted to...
Oh, well, that's the problem.
I wanted Vincent Van Gogh in my ears. It was so bad.
Really?
I can't. I could probably listen to it now, but for the longest time I couldn't. I just had to like leave the room when that song came out.
Yeah, exactly, man. No, it's like there's certain songs like, dude, I love Eminem, but that song, remember when he made the song with Rihanna, Love the Way You Lie?
Yeah.
That was that entire summer. You could not turn the radio on.
It would be on all the time.
I remember when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is a great song. Rihanna's freaking awesome. He's a great rapper. This is amazing. Yeah. And then it's like, oh my God, please stop. Please stop. Please. And then I don't know, man. But yeah, man, so that was that. I mean, so Dad, besides that, I know, like, obviously, did you listen to a lot of stuff this year? Because you don't really use a lot of the big streaming apps. That was the whole thing. I was worried because, like, when you're year in review, because you mostly do, like you're still a news radio guy, right?
I don't use...
In the mornings?
No.
Oh, not so much anymore?
No, not anymore. I don't listen to the news because I don't trust the news anymore.
Oh, okay,
the news
is
not the news anymore.
Fair enough.
The news is garbage. It's freaking communist now.
Oh,
so I don't listen to it.
Well, Jesus.
So sorry. But anyway, I stopped listening to the news because I don't trust any of the news stations. And what I do listen to now is I do listen to music.
Yeah.
Especially on the way home from work, I'll listen to music.
Yeah.
Mostly on the way to work, I'll listen to probably either our podcast.
Oh, you mean the loosely related podcast
now? So
which, by the way, I forgot to mention.
I find it very interesting. It's a very good podcast.
That's
I enjoy listening to it.
Also, I think it sucks.
I think I'm not a fan. Also, I forgot to mention, if you want to check out the Loosely Related Podcast and listen along with my dad over here, you can find us at looselyrelatedpodcast.com. Mm-hmm. You can also find us over at on Twitter at LRPodcast. You can find us at Instagram at loosely_related. And you can listen to us on all those things that we mentioned, all of these years in review. Maybe you'll have number one next year will be the Loosely Related Podcast. That's going to be your number one thing. And that'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, and you can watch us on YouTube.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Definitely not, man.
But yeah, like I was saying, I listen to iHeartRadio. That's probably my favorite platform.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So they must have a year in review. They have to have that. Because you know what? I bet you they do.
But that would be influenced by Mom, especially.
Yeah, but I mean, you and Mom have almost the exact same taste in
probably.
Music, pretty much, right?
Yeah, they might. I would have to. I'm just trying to find out I was actually just trying to look up my YouTube channel for me and see if they had a year in review of music and video. But probably has videos and music. But
they got it's rewind time.
YouTube rewind.
YouTube rewind. Okay, so I will try to find that before the show's over and see if I can get a list off of iHeart. But iHeart I listen to. Now I listen to Spotify as well.
Yeah,
I hate Apple Podcast on my phone when I'm listening to it because it
you just hate. First of all, if anything that has the word Apple in the name, before he tries it, I hate it. I hate it.
I do, but I'll tell you why.
He just said I do. I do.
But the reason why I don't listen to Apple, it hijacks my phone.
Oh,
like when you listen to Apple, Apple Music on your phone,
it's like North Korea. It's the North Korea.
It hijacks the music app on the phone. It hijacks it. So, like for instance, what I'm saying is like when I get in my car and I start my car and it connects to Bluetooth and I'm on the Bluetooth when I hit the Bluetooth, whatever I had last on Apple, my Apple Music immediately starts playing.
You know, most people like that because most people only use Apple stuff.
Well, that's
so
true,
like
but I may not want that. I maybe want. But I'm saying like I'll switch to iHeartRadio.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'll switch to iHeartRadio and I'll start playing a song, but the Apple Music will still be playing in the background.
Yeah.
And I can't get rid of it. There's like, you know how you swipe up and you get the app and then you swipe it up and disappears and the music stops, right?
No, you have a different phone than me
with
too,
Apple.
So I don't know if that's a problem.
Not with Apple. Yeah. That music will play even though the app's not open.
Yeah.
The app's closed. I closed it. I shut the phone off, turned it back on, threw it against the wall, freaking took it, sent it to fucking China, can't have it come back again. Still playing the music.
Still playing it. It's still.
It's like paranormal activity.
Please stop.
Yeah.
You know. So
it's the Energizer.
I don't even open up the Apple Music thing.
All right.
So it's either.
There you go. I love Apple Music. To me, is the best one. I just think it's so. Everything with Apple for me is all user friendly stuff. I just like that. It's so easy to find everything I need. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, right? Because I don't. Again, it's like when you talk about certain topics, everything just comes in. You get like 1,000 questions.
Yeah, it just flows.
There's one thing that I kind of thought about, and it's kind of an interesting thing, and I would love to get your take on it because you know you're married.
Am I?
We all have different influences and stuff like that. Yeah, I think so. We all have different influences and all that. Like we were saying, would you say that from when you met Mom, you met your wife Kathleen? Did your taste in music change over the course of like just by literally meeting someone and dating and then being married? Like maybe you began to adapt some of her tastes in music and things like that.
Not so much her taste in music. I think she basically had the same tastes. I think maybe Cheap Trick, maybe not even, but she ended up getting into, and she was into Styx, but we were all into those things.
Sure.
If I had to say with her, it wasn't so much her, it was her family.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Sure.
And in two genres especially.
Yeah.
Her father and mom grew up in the 50s.
Right.
And their music was 50s music. It was,
Temptations, right? Is that
no,
I'm going to keep saying Temptations until someone says, Temptations.
The Four Seasons.
Richie Valens, right? And Mike, please, just say yes. Make me feel better.
All right. Richie Valens, I don't think he was into Richie Valens, but...
Was Chuck Berry the 50s?
Oh yes, he actually was. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, so
I love him.
I love.
But
Chuck
especially
Berry.
the Four Seasons, because her dad was a huge Four Seasons fan, and we listened to Four Seasons music over and over and over and over and over again. We still do to this day. Because
was the Four Seasons? That's
the hotel, right?
Is that Buddy Holly?
Sherry baby.
No, I know. Is that
Sherry baby?
All right, we got it. Okay, well, listen. All right, we're gonna do a loose related live music episode, and it's gonna be we're gonna get kicked off YouTube. Why you get kicked off? Because you guys suck. That's why. But I'm asking. Was that the Four Seasons? Was that Buddy Holly? Was that and all that?
No, it was.
Dude, I'm just.
God, I don't.
If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm terrible with these 50s.
It was.
bands.
Not Bobby Darin. Who was his name?
No,
I can't think of
Bobby Darin, Mac the Knife.
Okay.
God,
well, Grandpa listened to...
I can't think of the name again. It's slipping my mind. I shouldn't. They're going to shoot me. I'm going to get in trouble for not knowing the name of the lead singer. And he obviously it was something in the Four Seasons. Well, God, what was his name? All right. We're going to have to cut it out until I actually get his name.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Yeah, we'll have to cut this section out and then slip it back in again.
Exactly. That's easy to do.
But
that'll flow naturally.
Oh God, Frankie Valli.
Yeah,
Frankie Valli.
I'm sorry, Frankie Valli.
Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
I meant to say. I'm getting all the names all wrong. I mean, go ahead.
All right, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons was one of their most listened to. I can't even think of any other '50s ones that they would listen to. To tell you the truth, that was like the one.
Well, Grandma listened to Chuck Berry. I know that for a fact. I used to talk to her
Elvis
about
Presley,
Chuck
but
Berry.
I was already an Elvis Presley fan. I loved
and
Elvis
Buddy Holly
was.
I know that they all listened to Buddy Holly as well. I know that.
No, definitely not.
You don't think that?
No.
I could have sworn that they talked about Buddy Holly.
Nope.
Peggy Sue. You know, I've heard.
Oh, maybe yes. Okay.
You are all over the place today.
Yes. And,
Sam Cooke. Maybe Frank Sinatra in the beginning of his career.
Yeah. Okay. Dean Martin, maybe. I don't know if that was that.
That goes back.
That's Amore was in the 50s. So that's
okay,
Dean
there
Martin.
you go.
Yeah. Dean Martin.
Yeah.
They used to, we're not talking rock, but we're talking music. They used to love Dean Martin.
Talking about music. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then their other big genre was Irish music because they were big Irish. Irish. Rooney's is their surname, obviously, and I grew up in an Irish Catholic household too, but we never listened to Irish music ever. I never even knew what Irish music was until I met Kathleen and her family, and then they listened to Irish music every day, and they still do to this day, to the point where it's gotten in this family where we can't even listen to it. Because it's just so overplayed.
Out.
We've gone to see the Wolf Tones on several occasions, and they're the best Irish band, really, as far as I'm concerned.
They're the only Irish band I know. So there you go. They're the best Irish band that I know.
Well, outside of that rock one that you always listen to all the time.
No, what about Dropkick Murphys? Aren't they Irish?
Yeah, I guess that's true. So, for me, it's like, I grew up listening to that stuff, and it's another kind of a sphere of influence kind of thing. I knew of Irish music because of the Wolf Tones and all that, and there, a lot of the classic Irish songs, the Danny Boy and Irish Eyes, and they play all those songs, and then you learn about bands like Flogging Molly, and Dropkick Murphys, and all that, and of course they're freaking great. But even they get and I love Flogging Molly's, but even they get to a point where it's kind of like, all right, like how many different songs can you make to have a banjo that don't begin to sound all the same and blend together? And I still love it. Like, listen, man, I love a good on St. Patty's Day. You can bet your ass I'm going to be listening to Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly all day, pretty much.
Did we?
No, I don't think you saw. You saw a band. I forget the name of the band. I forget the name of it, but
Shillelagh Law.
Yes, that's the band.
And another band that plays.
Shillelagh Law.
No, it's definitely that's not exactly.
Shillelagh Law.
Shillelagh Law. You did see them.
We saw them down at the racetrack and the
Empire City
Casino.
Was it Irish bands?
Yes.
Yeah. We're talking about.
We hate the Brits.
We hate the Brits.
We hate the Brits.
Yeah.
But so that we went to see those rock.
But so basically, but you would say.
And there's also a very famous Irish band that actually.
Wolftones?
Right.
That rock band.
Rock band, right.
That made it very, very big.
Yep. Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor, yes.
That's who it is.
It's one of my favorites.
No, you too.
You too.
I got a top 10
Irish band.
I got a top 10 with an Irish band in it.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. So, you want to just? I mean, real quick. I guess we'll sort of wrap it up now. Just we did do our. You know me. I do my top 5 list.
Got a list.
Guess what? Rob went ahead and he did a numbered, this is in actual order, list of Rob's top 10 bands of all time. Rob, I'm gonna you take over, man.
All right, I'm gonna put my 52 caveats on it because it's difficult when we're music fans to be able to. Yeah, I did this in like 40 minutes maybe.
Yeah, but that's still that's impressive.
Yeah, it was not that much time I put in, so I'm sure I forgot. Now I will say I did do it in order.
Yeah.
Right down to number 1.
Right.
But in areas like seminal albums of my lifetime.
Sure.
So these may not even be my favorite bands, although most of them here are.
Yeah.
But there's bands like, for instance, I'll tell you right now, so you don't castrate me. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. Their albums aren't on here.
Yeah, that's fair. Listen,
I grew up, it was like I've always had it in my life, and I don't really remember it being a specific time.
Same. Dude, I get you, yeah.
Dude, we're still going to castrate you.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Just because.
We had that planned way before the show.
It
had nothing to do with this.
It's not related to the Led Zeppelin thing.
All right. So I'd love to hear some commentary, though, if you guys like these albums or anything.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so number 10, the albums Everyone's Doing It, So I Can't Wait, 1993, Cranberries.
The Cranberries.
Has
nice,
Dreams on it, Linger, I Will Always. I actually got to say...
That brings back some songs. I got to listen to some
Gotta say it's not even my favorite album from them. Their second album is my favorite album. No need to argue.
Yeah.
But this was a seminal album because A, got me into it, and there was a lot going on in my life in that time when I came out.
That's awesome, man.
And this is, I think, one of the only caveats where I did a / tie.
Yeah.
The other one is Live Throwing Copper.
Live, dude. Live's a great band.
That was an amazing album.
I love that song. It's a great.
I love Live.
I mean, the band's a great band.
Dude, Lightning Strike, Selling the Drama, I Alone.
Yeah,
that was a good album.
Awesome songs.
Number 9 is Rufus Wainwright, Want One. That came out in 2005.
Okay.
He's a singer, songwriter, pianist.
Yeah. Okay.
Famous.
Not familiar,
family.
Really. Yeah.
Number 8, I'm sure this will strike a chord with almost everybody here because I've had great moments with you guys listening to this album.
Hell yeah.
This is Counting Crows, August and Everything After.
Yeah.
It came out in 1993. How many years are we talking about?
Crazy, man. And they're still making albums.
Yeah, dude. I don't even know who the other 52 people in that band are.
They literally have a chorus.
There's like all these people. What did the main singer, what's the name?
Oh my gosh. Chris. Is it Chris something? No. Brian, what's the name of the lead singer of Counting Crows? Oh my goodness!
I messed it all. I know. I can't even remember.
Wait, is it?
Adam Duritz.
Okay,
Adam Duritz. I'm like Dershowitz. I don't know. But he got so big at one point. He got bloated. I don't know what happened to him. I thought he ate the band members.
I think it was. You know what he was doing the soundtrack for Shrek, and he was trying to get the character of Shrek. That's what it was. Yeah.
What are you method acting?
Yeah, exactly.
But dude, around here, Omaha, Rain King, Mr. Jones, Perfect Blue Bill.
Dude,
that might be one of the most perfect albums. It's so complete.
August and Everything After is one of the best albums of all time.
You like that album, Brian?
Oh, what?
August and Everything After.
Yeah, the Counting Crows.
This guy's sleeping in the corner over there.
And I would compare it. I don't know if you're going to mention it, but the Hootie and the Blowfish album is
I didn't put it on.
Cracked
Rearview Mirror.
Cracked Rearview Mirror is a great album.
That's every song on that album is great too.
Yes,
I can play it from beginning to end. I remember one time I was playing it for Ken, and I was in the car, and I listened to every song on this thing. He was like, I just keep playing. And he's like, what is every song on this a hit? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
You don't find albums that many times. It's usually like 3 songs that you like, boop, boop, boop.
And then that's it.
Yeah, which was a big argument for why people wanted to sample music. Because they were like, well, I'm buying $40 album for 3 songs.
Exactly.
All right, so then you got number 7 is Jack's Mannequin.
That's cool that you put Jack's Mannequin on there. So I was gonna put them on I used to listen to them back they did like Punk Goes Acoustic and all those bands like that and all like a great band. Great.
Yeah,
great
dude.
band.
Everything in Transit's an amazing, and the guy's super talented. He plays guitar. He plays piano.
His voice is amazing.
Yeah,
His
it's
voice
good,
is incredible.
dude. Holiday from the Reels that stand out on that album. Dark Blue and Bruised. I love that song. Bruised.
Yeah, Bruce is amazing.
Number 6, Blink-182.
Blink-182.
But I know I'm gonna go rogue here because a lot of people are gonna go, "Why are you making this album?"
I know.
But it's his self-titled 2009 is my favorite album.
Yeah, that's your favorite album. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, my favorite album of theirs is probably "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket." I think honestly,
that's a great album.
To me, that's the best album of all time. I think.
I mean, those songs were
the best.
They were anthems during my youth. I mean, we sang all the time. We'd be like, "Oh, the small thing." We were sitting around. Everybody knew the lyrics. Adam's song. Everybody knows the lyrics.
Yeah, sure.
But I think I was when the 2009 Blink-182 album came out, I bought it right at the end, right as I was out of the way from the military, and I just liked the music. I liked that the Robert Smith and Cure was on that album.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And you can see, I think there was a writing on the wall, and this is just my opinion, not like I'm a foremost authority on Tom DeLonge or anything. Yeah. But I think there was a separation going. Yeah, that's what I'm known as.
They're definitely.
You could see they were going different ways in their music because he kept going more to that ethereal, like
songs like
digital,
Not Now, whatever, and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So all of this, I Miss You and Lost Without You were my favorite songs on that album.
I love that song, Lost Without You.
And then not surprising, I guess, Angels and Airways, I Empire 2007.
That's pretty cool. There's a lot of people who are like that. Like I feel like there's only two camps. There's people who love Angels and Airwaves.
Or hate them
all. I think they're all.
I love Angels and Airwaves.
I actually don't like them at all.
Yeah, some people hate them.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think he's better in that band than he is in Blink.
I think that's definitely true. I agree with that for sure. He's definitely.
I think he's what. Do you see? That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
you can tell. But I will say this: I hate saying it because I love him as a musician, but when you hear him speak, you're like, "Is this guy a
He was on. Have you ever seen his Joe Rogan episode? He is a nut job.
He's a UFologist. He's all in the UFO crap.
Yeah, he's
really?
He believes in aliens. Hardcore.
Yeah, 100%. He spent a huge amount of his money. Doing it.
No, the reason why he left Blink-182 at first was to they came back. You know, remember the Neighborhoods album
because he was abducted by UFOs.
Yeah,
correct.
No, but maybe he was because he left to write a book about aliens. That's what he was doing. He wanted to write a book about aliens. That's what he was doing.
All right.
He never should have gone on Joe Rogan. He humiliated himself. That was really good.
All right. This is one of my favorite bands of all time. Number 4, though, the album Her Majesty and the Decemberists from the Decemberists.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, I'm Yours, Billy Liar, The Bachelor and the Bride. Also, not my favorite album from that band, but a great sample of what they are. I don't know if you guys like Decemberists, but
I've heard of them.
Everything's like singing songwriting, and they're all like stories. He tells almost everything like a story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you guys listen?
I don't even.
I've heard of them. I don't remember the other day. I was telling we were listening to it in the car the other day.
Oh yeah.
They were on an episode of Parks and Recreation.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that.
I had never heard of them,
I didn't know that.
But they were playing one of their songs, and I was like, "That's it. That guy's got a great voice." I'm gonna look him up, and I listened to a few of their songs. They're good.
Yeah,
man.
He's very unique.
I love his voice. I love it.
Yeah.
I love.
I'll have to
voices.
check it out. I don't know that I have or not.
Colin Malloy is the lead singer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this next band, this is Rob. Always.
This is my jam.
I knew this was coming, man.
Fevers and Mirrors in 2000 from Bright Eyes.
Bright Eyes.
You got a scale of mirroring those in different clocks.
If you got into Rob's car in the early 2000s, he was definitely listening to Bright Eyes.
That's all that was going on in that car. To tie you down and make you listen.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what you drove me crazy with.
I call that my extremo years.
Yeah,
I'd go into those record stores. I'd be like, if you don't have something that'll make me cry, fucking leave it.
Exactly. Leave it. I don't want
it. You give it to me right now. I want to pull over and cry and wear some mascara. No, I never did that. I never wore makeup.
It would be very difficult for me to list a top 10 album because there's so many different albums that I like.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But these are just seminal albums during those times of my life.
Exactly.
Not necessarily.
And for instance, we didn't mention them. There's a bunch. Every time we talk, the more we talk,
the more you think more.
The Eagles. We never mentioned the
Eagles.
Of course.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man.
You know, and
for guitar in Hotel California is amazing.
It's like amazing songs that I grew up with. The Eagles were they were awesome. And they're another band actually that when they actually came out, I didn't like them. And I liked them later on.
Okay, that's cool.
It's kind of weird.
Like their early days, they were like folky. Their early days,
they were like almost like a country-ish type, and that's
they had a
banjo
player. They had a banjo player on the first album.
Did they really? Is that true?
Yeah, the guy played banjo. Yeah. I mean, not many songs had it, but yeah, he actually had a banjo.
If you want to, I think we mentioned this on another episode, but if you ever want to see a great documentary, they have the Eagles documentary on Netflix.
And it's really fascinating to see the behind the scenes of like what bands
how they got together, where they came from, and how they all became a band in that story. It's just amazing.
Just to get extra credit here too. You notice I didn't cheat by using any of their compilation albums.
Yeah,
none of them.
No greatest hits, none like that. No,
because, listen, I probably listen to Billy Joel more than any of these people here.
Yes, exactly.
But I didn't put them on the top 10 because it's something ubiquitous I've always had in my life as well.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
Yeah.
So I think, if we had to name songs entirely, I would be here forever.
Yes, exactly.
But,
for sure.
Number 2 is Unplugged, the Nirvana Unplugged.
Nice.
1994. I don't even know what to say. It's all that in a bag of chips. To go
that's
old
awesome.
School.
It's amazing. That's one of the best albums ever made. I would have to say like live albums are a separate thing, but there's some of the best live albums. That's got to be that's probably my favorite live album of all time. There's some great ones. I really do love Peter Frampton. Frampton Comes Alive. That's a phenomenal live album. That's unbelievable.
I can see your dad being that.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved Frampton Comes Alive. That was when I grew up.
Mom had the poster in her room when she was a teenager. She always tells the story.
Yeah, she told me that.
Big
full poster.
And it's the famous,
luscious hair.
It's the famous Peter Frampton.
The Frampton Comes Alive. Well, it was the
every girl had
cover.
that.
Yeah.
My brother, I knew.
Hard Blind pretty sick.
Yeah.
And my brother went. Of course, he went to see him. He went to see everybody. He saw every single musician that ever played in that day.
That's another thing we do, like shows we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And he always said the best and the most incredible concert he's ever gone to was the what's his name? I can't think of his name. I'll get back to it.
Okay, cool. There we go.
Yeah,
that was an amazing show.
There we go. I loved that show. It was so good I forgot about it.
He sings In Your Eyes.
I know. I know.
Peter Gabriel.
I didn't want to say that.
I
wanted to give you a chance to figure it out. But
so there will be a compilation spot because it's happening again where I'm starting to forget everybody's name. So we're gonna have to get we're gonna have a 2-hour-long episode of me forgetting stuff.
Your Eyes. That's what I think.
Oh, and you're freaking.
Yeah, I think of John Cusack movie.
Oh my God. Say Anything. It's he's holding up the boombox.
That's the famous scene.
And he puts on some amazing concerts.
Now, just out of the top 10 before I hit my number 1, I got
Yep.
Actually brought some Broadway songs. Like I've loved Phantom of the Opera, the original Broadway cast since I used to listen to it over, and I've been listening to it since I was a little. Les Mis, I love that album, the original Broadway.
Obviously, the whole Cats.
Now he's just playing. I can't stand. I like to punch one of them down. I don't understand what that show was about.
And
when I was little, I got stuck there so many times. I couldn't stand that show.
It's so bad.
Now they made a movie.
The Winter
Garden.
They
have a movie coming out.
They have a movie coming out for
Cats.
Cats.
Have you seen this, Rob?
No,
They're making an
I want to watch. I have to watch it just to see if the movie sheds some more light on what the story's about.
Oh my God! I just can't.
What is it about?
It's about a cat lady.
I think
they're just walking up and down.
I think this is my theory.
All right.
You can tell me if I'm wrong or if you think that I'm on the right track, but I think the story is about the 9 lives of cats.
Yeah.
I think they're on a planet.
No, that's what it's about. Yeah, right.
Okay, I was on the. Okay, so but I thought
it was about the 9 lives that I felt like I went through sitting there watching the freaking play.
So boring. But I remember when I school went, I was like, no, I've seen it. I hate it.
And the only reason why I finally got to that was I think I've seen it at least 5 times.
Oh,
I saw it 3 times at Broadway. Because I got free tickets. People took me to it. And I walked out every time I walked out with the same impression. Like, what the hell was that? What is it?
Get it. And
they said Jellicle Cat 25 times. I don't know what Jellicle Cat. I don't know what the hell a Jellicle Cat is.
And then I saw the Jellicle Cat production with Brian. He wrote and produced it at the high school. No, I'm only kidding. But he was there and he helped in the production of the
I forgot that.
play.
Yeah, you did that, Brian.
In North Rockland High School.
Well, don't be offended by anything I said, Brian. But it was the worst show I've ever seen in my time.
And your cousin Daniela was one of the cats she was one of the show, and I think that's where it may have started to click a little bit. Maybe Brian's.
I don't know.
I think you're all just
the other half of my brain being
I think I'm done talking about cats. I'm done talking about
cats. Let's move on. Let's do a top 10 ones I hate.
No.
Cats is like 10 through 5.
Exactly.
All right, this is anticlimactic because I don't think anyone here listens to him. But Poses, the 2001 album by Rufus Wainwright.
No, but that's awesome. So that's your number 1.
California and Poses. Yeah, it was such a great album. I actually saw him open for. Now I'm going to go all stroking out. He opened for, what's her name? She had the Little Earthquakes album was her huge album.
Oh, shit.
She was majorly big during the 90s.
Majorly big.
She was bigger than him by a lot. Now he's probably more. What the hell's her name? You had all those little
Tori
Wiccan.
Amos?
Tori Amos, yeah.
Tori Amos.
Yeah.
There you go.
All those Wiccans and and women's rights people love that Tori Amos.
Tori Amos.
There you go.
Let's light incense and listen to Tori Amos. We praise the sky god. But I saw him open for her because I went with my ex and I was like, oh, it's Tori Amos. And then he was like, oh, what is this? And then I've seen him 4 times since then.
Wow, really, Rob? Wow. That's awesome. Wait, so that's your number one. I got to take a listen to him. That's like, I mean, I've always loved your taste in music, Rob. I think you have just certain people have a great taste in music. You just like that a lot. Like my brother picked some good stuff. I think just like my brother, it's kind of funny because he's the youngest in our family, and I think he's kind of gotten the sort of the combination of everyone. Like he's had
like an amalgamation of everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has you and Mom. He has Chrissy listening to, as funny as it sounds, but Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all that.
I remember. Honestly, I did.
He has that knowledge. Yeah. And I'm saying Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie, but all
I'm saying, but and then of course me with like my rock stuff, and it just seems like he's developed that. And whenever Maddie finds something good to listen to, I almost always listen to it because I know it's good. Yeah. Like Maddie got me into 21 Pilots. He's gotten me into even Billie Eilish, who does have some really good music. Like I really enjoy it a lot. He's gotten me into that. Maddie got me into Mike Posner. He's really great. He's he's a phenomenal songwriter. He just had this whole long story. It's crazy, but so like Rufus Wainwright, I gotta check it out, man. That's awesome. You're number one,
dude. Before we wrap up or whatever, before you get to whatever, I meant to tell you I watched some more of that documentary you two were talking about with the free climber. Dude, I was like,
dude,
I felt nauseous at sometimes. I was like, what is he doing?
The whole time,
I can't believe like you have a visceral reaction to it.
Yes,
I'm like, what is he freaking doing right there,
dude? The part when he does that thing where like he has to, so he takes his hands and he has to grip the rock with 2 hands. Like he has to pinch it and move around. I'm just like, okay, this is it. And like I know that he's done it, and I'm still like, okay, he's gonna die. He's gonna, it's like your brain can't comprehend that.
I'm watching him. I'm like, how much time is this taking? Because you see him turning into like an ant as they're videotaping. Yeah. And they're all talking. You do believe to some extent. I don't think they were being hyping it, but I think they were serious. They don't want to film their friend dying.
Yeah, exactly. The one guy.
I mean, they got to feel that way a little bit.
100%. I'm sure. Well, that was one of the reasons that documentary was so great. Was the guy Jimmy Choo, who's done a lot of great climbing documentaries.
I might be Jimmy Choo's.
I hope it's Jimmy Choo, but anyway, but he went ahead and he but he was saying like it's
my
hard,
Robin Jeans Jimmy Choo. No,
but dude, I don't know. I can't.
I'm glad you guys.
It was Jimmy Choo?
Jimmy Chin.
Oh, Jimmy Chin. Goddamn.
Jimmy Choo's cousin, bro.
Jimmy Choo's cousin. That's Jimmy Choo's cousin. Jimmy Chin.
But dude, no, I'm glad you guys put me on it. Yeah. I was like white knuckle, man. I was like, what is this guy doing? I made my brother-in-law watch with me because I watched half of it again.
Yeah.
And the guy is kind of bizarre, though.
Yes,
the guy's bizarre.
Yeah. You would have to be, right, to be able to be like that kind of mindset.
Like some kind of adrenaline junkie. But they said when they did the CT scan, do you guys remember that part? They said there was a part that didn't seem to light as much.
Exactly.
Like it took more to get him like stimulated.
Yeah. It was like his fear response center of his brain or whatever. It didn't really react the same way. Like he wasn't afraid of stuff. It's kind of crazy.
I'd be embarrassed. They show might be a little spider. My shoe, like, oh, a rodent.
Oh, Rob, you're the exact opposite. If we even so much as mention the word peanut, you could have a nervous breakdown.
Children, get inside.
Man.
Before we go out, I just want to have a mention that is connected to our last episode on the not getting ripped, the rip-off episode 25.
That, right? Yeah.
We had a response to a post that we had on Facebook from a friend of mine, Tom Caston, where I grew up with. And thank you, Tom, for your reply because it was good information. I grew up with him when he was a kid, and he's been working on cars and SUVs, and he's been a mechanic working on cars since he's been 7 years old. Mm-hmm. He went to
that sounds like a problem. It's like child slavery.
Yeah, it's almost
he enjoyed it. I remember him taking cars apart. Him and his brothers used to do that when he was young. And he actually attended Colorado State University for Industrial Science and Automotive Technology, and he's a licensed New York State emissions mechanic.
Nice.
But what he wanted to include, because we were talking about not getting ripped off and things being wrong with your cars and stuff like that, he said there's a site you can go to. It's called the NTSB site, and you can actually look up your car, put in your vehicle's VIN number, and if there's any open recalls on it, you could find out. Now, what he was basically saying with regards to this is that the factories, there's certain ones that they have to announce recalls on, and they send letters out. I'm sure you've gotten letters.
Yeah, of course.
I got one right now. Right? But there's other ones that are on this list that they don't have to. Mm-hmm. So you might go to this list and find out And if there's a recall, you can print it out, bring it into your place.
Oh, and they have to do it then? If you bring it to them, they have to do it?
It's a registered recall. Wow. So, so that's really good information, Tommy. I really appreciate that. I'm going to do that with all 3 of my cars out front.
It says... We'll put a link to that website in the description below and check that out.
There's a few things. It says NHTSA determines when a vehicle equipment, car seat, or tire creates a reasonable safety risk. So, like, I guess it goes beyond just the general.
Yeah, it's not like mandated recalls that the dealerships have to let you know about.
Right.
It's ones that they don't have to let you know about.
I'm afraid it's going to tell me my car's unsafe.
I know. You're
going to get rid of it now.
Oh, my God, you're still driving that? Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Yeah.
Are you in the car now? Big mistake.
And if you do go there and you find that you're having a problem with your car and it relates to one of these recalls, you can, from what I understand, you can print out the whatever that is, bring it to your dealer, and they have to repair it under the the laws of doing that. So thank you.
Little Ty. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that is nice. Great.
That's freaking great. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Appreciate the feedback and all that. And for everyone else out there, we appreciate you tuning in for another episode of Loosely Related. You can check out. We might have another little bonus episode on Thursday. Just something that we're trying to kind of put out more content for you guys. Yeah. Like we said, they're still out there protesting. They won't shut the hell up. We want more Loosely Related. What else is new?
We can't feed them enough.
Yeah. And so if you guys want to, stay tuned for that on Thursday, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace out.
Later.